A diplomatic war is escalating between the two nations, Niger and Benin. The two neighbours have been at odds for weeks over an oil pipeline that promises to bring much needed funds for Niger. The pipeline ends at a port in Benin called Seme. Oil from Niger will flow into Benin and get loaded onto ships from the Seme port. This means Niger is totally dependent on Benin for its oil exports. If Benin decides to shut off the pipeline, Niger cannot do very much about it. This is exactly what happened last month that sparked the latest roar. We covered a lot on that on our previous video, so you can check the link in the description below to watch it. Reports say that Benin has arrested 5 people from Niger. While their identities have not been made public, they have been accused of entering the Seme port illegally using fake documents. Benin says that 2 out of the 5 arrested are agents working for the Niger military junta who have been controlling the country since last July. Niger has denied this. Instead, it has accused Benin of kidnapping. Niger says the 5 people arrested were working for one of its oil companies and were only inspecting oil shipments at the port. Both countries are now trading accusations, but why are they at loggerheads in the first place? Why are there tensions over this pipeline? To understand this, we have to look at the events from last year's July. Niger's military deposed the country's president, Mohamed Bazoum, sending waves of shock across the region. It was the 6th successful coup in West Africa since 2020. The democracies around the region were getting worried that they might be next, so they took tough decisions against Niger. Benin, wanting to reverse the coup, supported a military intervention, and obviously Niger responded. It closed its border with Benin to avoid getting invaded, and the border has been closed ever since, affecting Benin's economy. The coastal nation has always been a conduit for trade, but the trade route has been closed for months, and Niger has chosen to import goods through different countries. Benin wants to undo this, and so it has been applying pressure through the oil pipeline, because while the land trade can be rerouted, Niger cannot do much about its oil pipeline. The pipeline connects Niger's oil-rich Agadam region to Seme and has the potential to bring millions to the landlocked country. Presently, Niger's oil output is about 20,000 barrels per day, and the pipeline could allow it to expand to about 90,000 barrels per day or more, meaning Niger has a chance to increase its oil revenue 5-folds. It was one of the poorest nations in the world before the coup, but after the junta took over, the economy is still recovering. Benin wants something in return in exchange for allowing the pipeline to run through its country. It wants to reopen their shared land border. It wants the land trade between the two countries to resume, but Niger has still not allowed this, despite that the post-coup hostilities have reduced. So why is it so? It's because the junta has still not forgotten that Benin wanted to intervene militarily when the coup took place. Niger is still concerned about a possible intervention, and that is why it wants to keep the border shut. That is the whole dispute the two countries have been trying to resolve. And so far, there has been no resolution in sight, and amid all of this discussion, Benin has arrested 5 people from Niger. This could be the latest pressure tactics, a way to force Niger to reopen the border, because it seems the oil exports will keep getting affected. We would love to see these two nations, who were once close, return back to their old ways, because when these nations progress, Africa progresses.